All right, it's time for another fabulous Sunday night news and nonsense. I have Total OS today with me, and Deckard Kane once again is playing hooky. I hate it when he does that. Toss, we need to come up with a really good way to we need some good preemptive revenge for this. What do you have in mind?
Well, I tried to tell you, cannot trust these Canadian people. You never listen to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, especially Canadians who use Triskel, right?
Sure.
Well, I think a fitting punishment is to hang him by his toenails until they fall off,
If you
and
say so.
and then take him for a 10-mile walk.
I have to go. Goodbye. Wrong show.
Pardon me, Toss. You know, it's just been one of those weekends. I just wrapped up the Manjaro Beginners Tour, and I did 7 really good videos on that series. And then during that time, I was building the next release of the Manjaro Cup of Linux edition, that is MCOL. And guess what, kids? Hopefully within the next 24 hours, I'm going to have a release announcement, and the snapshots are going up. I've also got a teaser up on the forum. And gosh, this is looking like the best MCOL I've ever built. And I know you guys are going to love it. And I know it's been a long time since I've made a release, but I'm going to tell you what, kids, this one is certainly well worth the wait. And I'm sure all of you are going to enjoy this one immensely. Yeah, and speaking of which, Toss, we were talking before the show.
Yeah.
You know, it is a great learning experience building your own Linux distro. Have you ever considered building your own Linux distro?
Honestly, no.
Well, I think I'll build one for you, and I'll do that out of the kindness of my heart. We'll call it Horse Stable OS.
Kiss my kernels.
Microsoft reveals all about Windows 10, Windows 10's Linux subsystem. That's right, the arrival of Bash in Windows 10 took many people by surprise and angered others like me. But it opens up a number of opportunities, including the ability to run GUI Linux apps. But it's about much more than just that. Microsoft wants people who are confused about the arrival of Bash on Ubuntu on Windows to know of the potential, and has produced an explainer about the Windows subsystem for Linux. Basically, it has a bunch of things. Has user mode session managers, Pico provider drivers, Pico processes, and a bunch of other really cool developer tools. Now, I was reading through this article earlier, Toss, and a lot of this kind of went a little bit over my head. I can build Manjaro, but some of these things they're talking about here. Yeah.
It's a bit much. I'm curious to see how far this quasi-merger will go. In fact, I believe Linus Torvalds is putting his resume to be the official spokesperson for Microsoft/Linux any day now, right?
No. I think we have I think we have better odds of Linus Torvalds winning the Publisher's House giveaway.
Okay, fine.
What you got, Toss?
Well, just a few days ago, the latest Ubuntu family of OSs were released. Of course, Ubuntu's Ubuntu. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
it's not Schlongjaro, like what you like, a Manjaro. But
What did you? Whoa. What did you call it?
I call it Jaro.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's what I thought. Go ahead.
anyway, I like Ubuntu Mate. That's probably going to be my Linux distribution of the year for beginners. So check it out.
That's Moo Ubuntu, right?
Say what?
Well, Ubuntu Mate. I asked him. Well, didn't you just see my top 5 distributions for beginners video I put out this week?
I thought it was last week. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe it was last week. Yeah, yeah, and I was talking about the canonical releases, and I mentioned Ubuntu Mate, and I says, why don't they call that one Mubuntu?
Moo as in cow?
Well, it's Mate and Ubuntu, Mubuntu, like
Oh, well,
KDE and Ubuntu, Kubuntu. You know.
well, duh, of course, yeah.
Well, okay. So what else is going on about the new Ubuntu release?
Well, there's something called snaps. Apparently, this is something that's brand new. This is apparently some applications that are separate of the normal deb or PPA.
Yes.
And apparently, these have their own dependencies. So when you install an application, piece of software from Snap, you won't have to go hunt other stuff that goes with it to make this specific piece of software work. Now, it's brand new, so there isn't a lot out there, but in theory, it sounds like it might be something easier for beginners to install software and not worry about is it going to work in their version of Linux or not.
Okay. And along that same vein, this is from Network World. According to a developer, popular desktop Linux distro Ubuntu has potentially serious privacy flaws.
True.
And this is related to snap packaging. Feature in the just released 1604 version of Ubuntu could pose a serious threat to the privacy of desktop Linux users, according to a well-known open source software expert. Version 1604, the latest long-term support release of Ubuntu, features a new package format used for installing software on an Ubuntu system called Snap. Snap, 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 snap. Pop, 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 pop. It's gonna pop. And so, at any rate, however, according to an open source authority, Matthew Garrett, there is a problem. Snap package is installed on an Ubuntu system that uses the X11 windowing system, meaning, he said, most desktop Ubuntu installations can copy private data almost anywhere they want without much fuss. The issue is that the applications running in X can simply ask to receive keystrokes from other applications, Garrett wrote. Now, it stands to reason this is something that's really new to us, right? So
Yeah.
I imagine they're going to have this issue addressed really soon, because if it really is that bad of a security flaw, and this is something that gets adopted heavily, I imagine they're going to, the question's going to be moot within a week.
Well, I could crack a joke and say, let that be a lesson to you. Stop using an insecure system like Linux. Ha ha ha. But look, well, I figured you would like that one, yeah.
Toss, I ought to slap you in the face with a wet fish. How could you even say that?
It's a joke. Come on.
Oh, goodness. All right.
But
What you got? What you got, Toss?
let's see. Oh, we talked briefly, I think it was last week, maybe off mic, about Kden Live. The latest Kden Live, I believe, is due out this month for version 16.04. I'm looking forward to that one. In spite of its ups and downs with Kden Live, I still believe it's the best video editor for Linux, although I'm really liking Shotcut, especially in Windows. It works really good. So I know you're a big fan of Kden Live, so you may want to check it out. I went to the Kden Live website today, and that should be released any day now, the latest version for, of course, the Ubuntu families, the 16.04 version. So check it out.
Okay, and for those of you who are into Kden Live, if you've seen my last Kden Live video, I actually built the snapshot from Git. So you may have already seen all the latest features, and I've already demonstrated them on my YouTube channel. Kden Live is an awesome video editor. Absolutely love it. And you know what's funny, Tuss? I could not wrap my head around Shotcut. I really tried to like that one.
It's not as full-featured as Kden Live, I will say that. But because it's not as robust, it might be easier for beginners, possibly. And at least for me, it does appear to be a little bit more stable. And there is a Windows version to try it out. So I think that's a plus there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and that, let me guess, the Windows version, they just basically open up a bash prompt and then just run sudo apt-get install Shotcut.
Sudo apt-get, grab Tylenol and aspirin. Yeah, right.
Yeah, sudo apt-get fix Windows.
Moving along.
Okay, well, it appears that one of GNU Linux's most important network components just got an update. Network Manager 1.2 debuts with improved security, Wi-Fi usability, and more. The software framework that powers the network connections on many GNU Linux systems just got its second major update in less than a year and a half, with the version 1.2 release of the Network Manager. Version 1.2 brings several improvements to Network Manager, including better security and usability for Wi-Fi, and the changes should make the list of available access points more responsive and manageable, save energy on mobile devices and laptops, and even improve privacy by MAC address randomization, according to an official announcement. So this sounds like a wonderful idea, and I could possibly be using this already and not even realize it. Because how Manjaro is pretty much on the cutting edge
Yes.
of software. So if we're not using it now, I'm sure we will be using this really soon. So, and the thing is, for those of you who don't know, I actually do everything on my laptop computer, and I'm talking about from editing videos to building Linux distributions to doing whatever. I do everything on a laptop, and so this is excellent news because I bring my laptop to the coffee shop all the time, and of course one of the things that always happens is that when you're using Wi-Fi, it likes to drain down the battery. So we'll have to take a look at this and see just what kind of improvements this brings to the table. But better security is always a plus in my book.
Absolutely.
What you got, Toss?
Well, all my stuff next will be some nonsense, but you know what? Let me, yes.
Yeah, well, I have to get back to sleep. I mean, building, the 64-bit MCOL is done, and now I gotta get 32 built. So, yeah, I'm not gonna be sleeping, I can assure you.
Well, Manjaro always puts me to sleep. I'm just kidding, but
remember,
yeah,
TurtOS is heading your way, and it's gonna have your picture on it, Toss. Keep pushing me. I'm in the mode. I'm in the mood to code a nightmare for you out of the kindness of my heart.
Thank you for tonight's show. I'll see you next year. Okay, I have all the rest. Yeah, all the rest of my stuff is nonsense. But before I do that, let me make an announcement here. It'll be short. Last year, March, the March YouTuber of the month. Her name is Stephanie Forian. She is fulfilling a dream. She started off with a voice and a dream, a singer-songwriter. And she just released an album, a CD of all original songs. And her single, which is called Sweet Insomnia, has just made it on the top 100. She recorded the album in Germany. It's on the top 100 somewhere overseas, not here yet, but she was discovered. I discovered her through YouTube, through the 5 members of the Linux/technology community. So first of all, thank you. I spoke with her a couple months ago. Like I said, she started off as a struggling artist. She got a break here and there. Good for her. Her name is Stephanie Forian. So check her out. I just wanted to throw that out because she deserves support. So buy her songs if you like it. I'll have all the links below in the show notes. So thank you to the community.
Yeah, and that's something you got to love about YouTube, because anybody can be a star nowadays, and you don't even have to be talented.
Boy, ain't that the truth? Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
They've got some pretty wretched people on YouTube, and they've got bigger audiences than I do, and I'm like, what?
Well, this does not apply to her, not at all. She is definitely talented. She deserves, like I said, I spoke to her 2 months ago in an interview. She deserves a beautiful voice. She deserves all the support she can get, and anyway, I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, speaking of 2 wretched people, we're right here.
Uh-oh. Here it comes, folks.
Okay, are you ready for some nonsense?
No. I'm not. I want more news.
I don't have any more news, so...
Well, then find some, darn it! Go ahead with your nonsense.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll charge you for it later. Go ahead.
Okay. A Minnesota business offers meth as a bonus for employees. An auto shop.
Methamphetamine?
Yes. Is there any other kind? Uh, an auto body shop in Minnesota was the subject of a drug task force search after a report that the owners were distributing drugs to employees as bonuses. Let me just say this is outrageous. They should be distributing crack, not meth. No, I'm just kidding. But you may, if you had your car serviced there, you may want to have it serviced again somewhere else just to be safe, right?
Well, truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
I had a boss many years ago that used to give me some green tokum schmokum for doing a good job. So yeah,
Okay, we'll see. It wasn't
that
nonsense.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, if it depends on where you're working and the kind of people. There's an old saying that goes, "Birds of a feather flock together."
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and you go to some of these places, and everybody is smoking a doobie during lunch, and they condone that behavior, Well,
Yeah, I know.
of course the NSA is eventually gonna get you. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
duh. Let's see. What else do I have? A UK teen passes the driving test despite hitting a deer. So this is how you could pass your driver's test in England. Maybe next time try hitting 2 cows. You may get some more points for that. So I don't know, but anyway.
Um, okay. So basically, they had the tester in the vehicle. The person
Yes.
hits a deer and still passes the driving test.
Yes.
What
Exactly.
the heck have they been smoking?
Speaking of smoking, right? What do you got?
I don't have any nonsense news. This is your ball game because after this show's
Oh,
over, I got to get back to. I have to get
okay.
the news and nonsense report back. Get the news and nonsense report on the YouTube channel so I can get back to building MCOL because I've got a bunch of people who are just waiting
Okay.
for the next
I
release.
ha-
And gosh, you kids are gonna love it. It's exciting. I can't wait.
I have one
Go
last
ahead.
thing. I have one last thing, and
Okay.
I'm reading it. I don't believe it. I had to look it up. Apparently, this is real. So let me read it to you, and you tell me if you have ever heard of anything like this. This is
Okay.
in New Zealand. Headline: Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster performs first ever legal wedding ceremony. The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster conducted its first ever legal wedding ceremony as a New Zealand couple were wed in a pirate-themed ceremony. Yeah.
That is nonsense.
All
Where
right.
did you get that story?
Why don't you
from?
do a Google search, Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and you'll be surprised what.
Well, it did come from New Zealand, and they have some pretty strange cookies from over there. Didn't Peter Jackson, the guy that did the Lord of the Rings films and stuff like that, come from there?
I believe
I'm
so.
pretty sure he did. Yeah, in one of his earlier films, he used to make some pretty raunchy
Oh.
splatter flicks back in the early days. Yeah, he had one called Dead Alive that was,
Oh.
that was an orgy of blood and gore, and then there was
Ugh.
another one before it called Bad Taste.
Oh my.
That was really the epitome of gore porn.
Oh my.
And the thing is, he used to take all these, he was really deep into special effects and stuff like that, and the storylines were insipid and funny,
Hmm.
and that's how he got his start and everything. So yeah, there are some strange cookies coming from New Zealand. So yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't.
there you go. On that note, that's all I have.
All right, and that's all I have too. Take us out, Toss.
Thanks once again for joining us on the Center Report. Join us every Sunday night. Next time, Spatry can just stay in bed with his MCOL. I think that's a new kind of doobie, isn't it? The MCOL puffer thingy, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Manjaro Cup of Linux edition.
Yes,
M. Cole. Yeah.
right. Yes, the marijuana cup of.
Yeah, and you drop.
Gotcha.
I'm I'm gonna snort 2 or 3 lines of M. Cole before calling it a night, huh?
Well, you have to building the real MCO. Don't you got to snort some coffee and something else?
Well, yeah, it does involve a lot of caffeine and that sort of thing. So,
See, all
yeah.
right. Anyway, say good night, Spatry.
Good night, Spatry.
Ciao.